Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the V Bailey Network. I'm your host, V Bailey, and we're back for another episode of Talks with V's Safety Series. Well, before we get too far along, if this is your first time visiting us and visiting our channel, it's that time. What time? Subscribe time. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. And after you subscribe, hit the bell. And last but not least, share. Share with your friends and family members because we don't want them to miss out on all the wonderful content that we share right here on the V Bailey Network. So, as you all may know, this season is all about safety. And this topic that we're covering today is, I would say, the most common type of safety. It's physical safety. Physical safety is what I believe that we think about when we consider or we hear the word safety. We think about keeping our, anything that's going to impact us physically. And so I thought that it was such an important conversation to have and to talk about those different areas of physical safety and how we can empower ourselves in those in the topic or in the area of physical safety. And so we have a special guest that is joining us this evening. And I'm super excited to hear about how the work that she's doing helps individuals cultivate more physical safety in their lives. And so let's go ahead and talk about who we have joining us this evening. Our guest is one of the few ninth degree Black belt females in the state of Texas. That's awesome. With a Black belt in 4 different martial arts, she has dedicated her life to the art of self-defense. She solely ran her karate school for 27 years and has taught self-defense to thousands over 30 years in the 30 years of her experience. So without further ado, welcome Grandmaster Diane Reeves Kirby. Welcome.
Thank you very much, V. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm super excited to have you on the show. I mean, your resume is so impressive, and that's not even all of it. So I'm just super excited to hear about what you're going to share with us today. I know that the audience will be very excited to just learn more about something that a lot of us don't really know too much about, but we've heard about. So if you could, let's just jump right into it and share with us, a little bit about you and your story. How did you get into the industry, practice of martial arts?
Well, it's a little bit of a journey. I started out after my high school years as a registered nurse. I got a degree in nursing because I wanted to help people. And I got into nursing management, nursing education, in-service education, and a lot of things that had more administrative duties than they did working with patients. And what happened to me was that I felt that I wasn't helping people anymore. I was just stressing myself out.
Yeah.
And there was a person who I knew that suggested that martial arts is a really good stress relief. And so I thought, okay, well, I'll give it a try. And I called around and checked out some different karate schools and things like that. And the one that I called that I remember said, yeah, in 6 months you can be a green belt. And I went, what's a green belt? So I moved on and just started at a YMCA.
Wow.
And I lucked into getting one of the most well-recognized instructors in the United States. He's written over 400 books, and his name is Grandmaster Keith Yates. Wow. I also trained with Grandmaster J. Pat Burleson for all the way up through my 8th and 9th degree black belts. So
Wow.
I was really fortunate to have really good karate instructors. And I started just wanting to have the physicality of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that was relieving for the stress. And
Yeah.
finally, after about 6 months, my instructor said, "Don't you want to test for yellow belt?" And I went, "I don't know." I was just a really slow learner. I was
Mhm.
uncoordinated. I never done anything athletic before, but it kept appealing to me, and I kept going back, and I kept going back. And the more I went back, the more I liked it. The more I liked it, the more I went back. And so eventually, I was training 5 days a week.
Wow. Wow. And that's really impressive, too, to think about, because a lot of times when there's something that's meant for you in the beginning, it just kind of, you just start, and
Exactly.
you're not thinking about it. You're not, meditating in your head that you are going to be this amazing, martial arts instructor. You're not thinking about those things, but gradually, little by little, you get better. You become, a master in this thing that you just decided I'm going to do so I can relieve some stress. And so it's so, fabulous to hear different people's stories, and how they end up just getting to this amazing place when that wasn't, initially the intention. It was just like, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do something for myself. I'm going to change, my routine up, because I feel like I need something more. And it's just like that calling, I think. That that's why it worked out that way, because it was a calling, So that's a beautiful. And so you've been in the industry for 30 years. Or
More
30 years
than 30.
experience
Actually, it's close to 40 years.
now. Okay. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. So with 40 years of experience, can you tell us about your different certifications? What are you trained in, the different types of martial arts you're trained in?
My original style was an American version of Taekwondo. Um, as I moved through the ranks and explored a little bit more with some of the different people in the system, it became Taekwondo. Um, Taekwondo with the Texas attitude, because we were more focused on self defense than
Mm,
a lot of the other styles.
right.
So that's where I started. That was my initial, and that's what I have my ninth degree black belt in, through um, a lot of training. And the the second the second black belt that I have is in Okinawan Kabuto, which is weapons. Um,
Mm.
that's not knives and guns. It's bow staff or wooden sword and things like that.
Oh, okay.
The third one that I did was American Kempo Karate, which Ed Parker did. Ed Parker actually was the one that promoted Elvis Presley to black belt. So he has a little name recognition. And then the last black belt that I got was in Kokusai Jiu-Jitsu Renmei, which is a form of Aikido or Aiki Jiu-Jitsu, which is joint locks and pain control techniques.
Wow. Oh my goodness. That sounds so exciting though. Like, oh, I
It's
just love
fun.
it.
It's
It's
fun.
is it fun? Yeah, it seems like it would be fun. I mean, I don't know, just growing up watching movies with, karate movies, Karate Kid and all these different things, and like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, all of that. You're like, Street Fighter, I have a little brother, a younger brother. And so we're like 2 years apart. So some of the boy stuff I would do too, because you're going to watch soap operas and these things with me. And then I'm going to, watch all the comics and the fighting stuff and
Right.
play sports with you. And so, yeah, just to see it has always been cool, but, I never really thought, too far into it and how like important it is,
It was entertainment more than anything.
it was entertainment. Yeah, exactly. It was entertainment. So, well, next, there's so many different ways that you can protect yourself, like leading into that, right? We're talking about that. Ways that you can protect yourself physically. Why is martial arts so beneficial to individuals?
Well, there's a number of different things that happened to me as I started my training and continued my training. When I started, I had a master's degree in education. I had a family, I had a good job, and I thought I was pretty confident. And 6 months after starting martial arts, my confidence level had gone to a height that I never thought that it would. And I don't know how it really works. It's an empowering thing to be able to not be afraid.
Yes.
And when you're not afraid, you have more confidence and you have more courage. And when I taught, I didn't teach just the physicality of martial arts. I taught the life skills that go along with it. Life skills like courage. And we define courage as doing what's right, even though you're scared. It's not an absence of fear. It's doing what's right, even though you are afraid. And I've had some things happen to me in my life that if I hadn't been a black belt, I'm not sure I would have survived it.
Right. Wow.
So there's courage, there's perseverance, there's confidence, there's focus, there's all kinds of different life skills that come along with just the physicality of training. And like I say, I don't know how it happens. It's kind of magic to me, but I will see that in individuals who start training. They won't be able to look you in the eye because they're more confident. And then as the more they train, the more confident that they get.
Oh my goodness, that's so true. That's just so powerful what you're saying, especially as a woman, and I know that on both sides, as humans, we can be scared. We can have fears for different reasons, just thinking that we're not going to be able to cut it in one way, whether that is physically protecting ourselves or just out there in life, right? But yes, definitely for me, as a woman, you do want to be able to be bold and go places and do the things that you want to do and not have to feel like, oh, I am this damsel and I need someone at all times to protect me. And a lot of times we just kind of go out there. We don't even think about that until something happens or we hear something, or you need to go somewhere and you're just like, never mind, I'll just avoid it. Like I just avoid this area at all times, and it's just like, but everything you want to do is over here. You're like, oh, well, I'll just suffer, because I'm not, because of fear. Right. And so to me, anytime that you're able to do something, find some technique, hear something, read something, to be empowered to conquer fear is beneficial. So, yeah. So, and speaking about confidence, in what ways would you, or what ways have you seen your students grow in the area of, in their confidence when it comes to physical safety from taking your courses?
Oh, I can give you 100 stories if you want. In my career with my martial arts school that I had for, like you say, 27 years, I saw kids, women, men come in all different shapes and sizes and all different levels of confidence. And I saw each one of them improve over time. They stayed with it. They stayed with it long enough to get a black belt. They were a changed person. They were a changed person. And I remember one little girl, she was constantly apologizing. If she would make a mistake, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I heard it a million times. And I kept telling her, you don't have to apologize. You're doing fine. And it finally started to sink in, and she became a really good black belt leader in the school. She was able to help others in teaching, by teaching and passing along the information.
That's awesome. Yeah, this just, I can imagine it being a transformative thing. And, like just building that confidence and learning something new. I'm sure a lot of people who've learned it, they enjoy the actual movement of it all, like doing.
Oh yeah, the physicality is fun. I mean,
It's like a dance.
I hesitate to say this, but when my daughter was 7 years old, and she started with me, and she didn't like karate very much because she didn't like to hit people.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I said, well, and this doesn't come across right exactly, but mommy likes to hit people, so mommy's going to keep going. Okay. And it wasn't really the people, it was the hitting the bags and things like that. But it was the physicality that really that really helped me feel it, and relieve stress.
No, that's so funny that you say that though, because I was having this conversation with my cousin about it, and I was just like, a lot of times I think we don't really think about how much these kind of things are needed, because as women, a lot of us, I'm not going to say all, because just like you said, I like it, and it's probably the empowering thing, that comes with it, right?
Yeah.
But as a lot of times with women, we're like, we don't like to think about the violence, or, we think it's violent just because we're so trained, right?
You're trying to be nice to people.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. We're trying to be nice, and hitting's not nice, even if it means protecting yourself. And that actually, I feel like is kind of dangerous if if you're put in a position and you're just like, oh, I hate to hurt someone so bad that I'm just gonna, let everything happen to me. Yeah. What was that?
Yeah, you're just gonna let it happen because you're afraid. And women a lot of times will not trust their intuition.
Right, because a voice has been so programmed into us, that that some other voice is more important than the one that God gave us.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So it's like there's an instinct, and a lot of times your instinct is not always so sweet. Your instinct is put in there to protect you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And you got to pay attention to it.
Got to. I love that. Yes. All right. So you've been in the industry for 30 years and counting. I would like to ask, how do you assess and track the progress of your students?
Well, when I had my martial arts school, we had a belt system that helped us and helped the students know where they fit into the scheme of things and how much knowledge that they had gained. Yeah. And there were requirements for each move to the next level, where they had to do a certain number of blocks, or a certain number of kicks, or a certain number of self-defense techniques, or a certain number of patterns or forms that we did to practice the techniques. So as they learned those, and there's a lot of repetition. You can't do anything well unless you do it a lot. You gotta do it a lot. And so the more they repeated those things, the better they became, and the higher rank that they attained. And I watched all of my students, and I promoted over 220 people to black belt. Wow. So I watched every student that walked through that door to make sure that they were moving forward in their journey. That was my mission, to make sure that they got out of it everything that they needed to get out of it.
I love it. That's awesome. Yeah, that's so important, because, you have these different, just in any business, but, when you're training someone or teaching someone, I always say this because I work in HR, and I talk about the different, like customizing your teaching style, it's so important, because people are so different. It's like we're the same, but we're different. We have these little things, a few things that set us apart from the next person. And I think when it comes to learning, it's so nice, when whoever it is doing the teaching, who is the master, and this is why I think if I'm the expert, I should be able to customize my teaching style, because I'm the expert, I'm the master in this, subject, or, or this, skill set. So I should be able to customize, my style so that I can teach as many people as possible. And
Exactly.
yeah, and also as well, along with that, what we're talking about as far as being able to track their progress. When you have that understanding, and you are, great in what you do have, different ways just in the customizing the way you teach it. You also have different ways to view it when you're tracking the progress, because you're getting to know this person and, where they were when they came in and the different areas that you've seen them improve along the way and where you want to get them. And so I love that. I think that it's just so awesome.
And it's a joy to watch. It's a joy to watch a human being walk in with a certain aura about them, with a certain demeanor about them, and watch that grow and develop over a period of time and metamorphosize into somebody that's a very confident and very focused and wonderful young person or older person. I took people all ages. I took people all sizes, all shapes, and it changed them. And I've heard it over and over and over again that martial arts changed my life. And that's what I wanted to do.
That's so beautiful, because just making that transition from being a nurse, right, and having that feeling, that gut feeling like, I could be doing more, this is, I feel like I can help more. And look at it, look what you did, and I think listening to that voice, that voice that God put, inside of you, like there's more you can do, and we're going to open those doors. and look at you opening those doors for so many others.
Well, and sometimes there's a gap. The interesting thing that's going on in my life right now is that I have had calls recently within the last 6 months from 2 of my former students. One little girl started with me when she was, I think, in 2nd grade, maybe.
Wow.
She had to quit when she was in 5th grade because of some family issues, and she wasn't able to get her black belt. And she sent me a little message on IM not too long ago and said, I just want to let you know that the courage that you taught me really came in handy during my teenage and early adult years. And so we ended up going to lunch and talking, and now she's training with me because she got robbed because of life circumstances. Robbed of the opportunity to make it all the way to black belt, but it stuck with her. She was 5th grade when she stopped. She's 40 years old now. And she's training with me to be, and she has 2 young sons, and she's training with me now to be a black belt.
Oh, I'm super excited for her. It just gets me all emotional. It's so awesome. I love to see people's lives transform. And so it's amazing. And just the feeling, I know, just in the small transformations in my life, you just feel so good. And so I love to know that, if that's happening in these other people's life, that you can have something for a certain period of time, and maybe you don't complete it, but it sticks with you. It's like a good teacher. Yeah, I love it. So moving on, let's talk about, you're talking about different ages. I wanted to say, I know sometimes that people may feel insecure and think that they may not be able to do karate because of their weight, their height, or their natural strength, in their body. They're like, I'm kind of lanky. What can I do? I'm not going to, be able to fight anyone. I'm too heavy, I'm not going to be able to, fight anyone. Or maybe, it's required, people just look at all these different things to tell themselves no, or maybe the world told them no. So with that being said, what advice would you give those individuals?
Well, first of all, it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how tall or how short you are. It doesn't matter how heavy or how thin that you are. Um, none of that matters. It's baby steps. And you don't have to be able to be a world champion the first day you walk in the door.
Right.
You take it one little, it's like trying to eat an elephant all in one bite. You take it one little step at a time, and you will see what you can do. I never had anybody walk in the door that said, well, I'd really like to do this, but I got this neck thing and I got this back thing and I got this knee thing. And there were all kinds of things that were holding them back. And that's a life skill that we all need to have. I don't care what the obstacles are. I'm going to overcome those obstacles, and I'm going to do this because this is important and this is good for me. And, I always had the backup that, hey, I'm a nurse, I'll work around it. And for some people, we did. We needed to work around it in some way, but we made it work. Because if the desire was there, and if the fortitude and the confidence was there, then they could do whatever it took to be successful.
That's awesome. No, it's so good. Yeah, I love it. I hope that I feel empowered already.
There you go. It is magic.
I wanted to ask if lastly, as we are, kind of getting towards the end of the show, if you could either share one or two easy karate moves someone can learn fairly quickly, either share or describe, which ones would you say? Because, we have the internet, y'all. So tell us, we can find the video, I'm sure.
First of all, I am writing a book. All right. So I'm writing a book about self-defense, and there are a lot of techniques that are described in the book. Okay. Second of all, you can learn something. I mean, I can show you your audience a couple of techniques. All right. That doesn't mean they're going to be good at them until they go and practice. And they really need to practice under
someone trained.
A trainer, an instructor that knows what they're doing, and do it repetitively. It's just like learning to drive a car. If, someone explains to you, this is how you drive a car, that doesn't mean you can get out on, 35 or 75 and be successful at driving. You have to practice, and you have to take baby steps. And it's just the same with martial arts. It's easy once you know how, but there's a lot of practice involved. There's a technique that I teach routinely in my self-defense classes. Is if somebody grabs you, to trap them. And this is a reversal, and this is a psychological thing. If somebody thinks they have you, but then you have them, it turns the whole thing upside down for them.
Right. They're like, wait a minute.
I use the heel of my palm to the chin. All right. And it's the backhand, because you get more power with torque and with backup.
Okay.
And it goes straight, not horizontal, not vertical, but 45-degree angle, like you're going where the ceiling and the wall meet. All right. And what will happen is the head will rock back, but the brain, it's like an uppercut in boxing.
Right. You come to the nose or something.
It's not the nose, though.
Oh, what is it?
Nose. Because this is cartilage. What you're doing is hitting underneath the chin.
Oh, okay.
Underneath the chin, it rocks the head back more.
Oh, okay. You see that move so fast. I don't know what area they're in. Are they shoving their nose back? What's happening?
No, it's under here. You have to pull your fingers back out of the way. If you miss, then when you're coming down, you can always use, fingers to the eyes. But it's a motion where you use your entire body weight and put in, so that when a quarterback gets sacked and hits his head on the turf, the brain is rattled, and it causes a loss of consciousness. Now, the first time you do it, you're probably not going to be very successful. But if you practice on the bag enough, then
Yeah.
you're going to be pretty good at it. So that's one. All right.
Mm.
A second technique that's kind of my go-to is if somebody's coming toward you and they're threatening, or they're trying to hurt you, trying to hit you or whatever, is to move to the side, and then you stomp your foot to stomp a bug.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, if you miss and the bug goes up the wall, you'd be stomping the bug on the wall. That makes sense.
Right. Okay.
So the same motion of stomping a bug on the wall, only you're stomping the knee of the person. Now, I don't know how many of your audience knows what an ACL injury is, but an ACL injury is your anterior cruciate ligament that stabilizes your knee. And if it's stretched or torn, then number one, it's very painful, but number two, you won't be walking. So if you're not walking, then you're not much of a threat. Does that make sense?
Right. I get it. So you're stumping back like you were hitting the wall this way. You're going to hit their knee. And most of the time, there's some people who like walk or they stand certain way and their knees lock. So you may break it, and that's the point when you're trying to get away.
Right.
So, yeah. Okay. That's good. Those are pretty good ones. Yeah. I love that.
But again, don't try this at home.
Don't try it at home, as they always tell you.
Don't try it on anybody that you know. All right. This is for self-defense only. And it's
right.
Under accomplished martial arts instructor.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, I wanted to, we're talking about these different moves and techniques. And I know there's some people who probably are thinking, maybe, it's just women in these self-defense classes, but that's not true, right? You guys teach different types of classes for including men.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that, the different type of classes that you all have.
Sure. Well, we have a variety of
action self-defense.
Action self-defense. And I need to mention that my husband is part of the team that we have. He is also a 9th degree black belt. His name is Tim Kirby. And for those in the martial arts world, he will probably recognize his name, as he got several state and national championships during his karate career.
Yeah.
So we teach not only women, but we also teach men. We teach private lessons. We also have one-time group classes, a basic class that's 2 hours comprehensive that covers awareness and prevention, as well as de-escalation and self-defense techniques. We also do follow-up classes to those where you get to practice the moves over and over again. Yes. And he teaches our Fearless and Fit program for women who are interested in ongoing classes on Mondays and Friday evenings at 7:30. And those classes are half self-defense and half fitness training, things like that, where you're working on the physicality of how your body is, and stretching and flexibility and things like that. I also do parties. Women's parties are a hoot. We always have a great time. Sometimes I do parties for Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts, National Charity League, or Young Men's Service League for teenagers. And then also we do corporate events. So for Employee Safety Month in June, there are a lot of things to provide self-defense information, especially if people are leaving the building late, if there's parking garages and there's safety things like that. So we offer those opportunities as well. So we have pretty much a full range of self-defense options.
I love that. Especially that last option. I've been a part of the safety team at, in different, roles in my life. And it's so true. You're in there, you're getting all the information, but yeah, if you get stuck, you want to know some kind of technique of how to get away, because we don't really cover that. We cover just different ways, making sure that you're aware of your surroundings and get different places where you can be covered, but not what happens if they actually.
If there's an actual attempt for an assault or whatever, right? And that's something that where the rubber meets the road, you've got to know what to do, and you have to have done it enough to where you feel comfortable using it and being effective. And like I say, they're pretty simple moves. Anybody can do them. It's just a matter of being repetitive and learning it. So that it's ingrained and so that it's automatic. So you don't have to think about it.
Absolutely. I think that's it's awesome. So much good information. Before we wrap up, I would like to give you this opportunity to tell us a little bit about what you guys have, anything that you guys have coming up, or events, that you have coming up, special deals, any of that to share with the people, any of those things that you have coming up. And I'm looking forward to that, seeing you post that book, because that's going to be a really good, I think it'll be a really good gift, as well. So I'm excited about that. But if you can share anything that's coming up, and if there's nothing particular coming up, I'd like to give you the opportunity to just share where the audience can find you. If they want to follow you, check out different things on your social media account, and also get those website, how they can get in contact with you to take courses if they're in the Dallas area. I also wanted to add if there's any virtual courses that you offer.
Well, we do have Zoom available, so that anybody across the country can take a class online while we're doing the class in real time. So that's available. As far as upcoming events, we offer a continual special that if you want to come in and do a Fearless and Fit class free for the first time, then we're happy to have you, and you can find out what it's about and see if you like it. And the Facebook page is Action Self-Defense, and the website is the www.theactionselfdefense.com.
Okay, awesome. And I will make sure to share that. It'll be right down in the
logo is right here, and the Action Self-Defense is right here. And this says Sensei, that means teacher.
Absolutely. That's awesome. And you guys, and so that's where the only places where we can find you is on
Facebook.
And then the website. You're on TikTok or Instagram?
No TikTok. I have a personal Instagram account, but I'm not on the Instagram circuit, except I watch my grandkids.
Gotcha. It's just fine. No problem. I understand. Well, that's great. We will definitely share the link for you all's Facebook account and the website, and with all the information of how you can get in touch with Grandmaster Diane. This has been such a pleasure having you on, and I just thank you so much for being here, and also all the work that you're doing. I love to see that the transformation that has happened in your life has, so many people have been able to benefit from it. That's really a true blessing. And I hope you're proud of yourself, because I'm definitely proud of you.
Thank you so much. Well, and I wanted to say the same thing to you. Thank you so much for doing this and providing this service for so many people. I'm sure that everybody really gets a lot out of your program. And
yes,
all subscribe and tell your friends to subscribe and learn more.
Yes, absolutely. And so you guys' location is in Plano, right? Plano, Texas.
Right.
Okay, and we'll also share the address, so if you guys are in the area, you can go get some classes if you're ready for it, because I'm sure you need to be ready, and take it, serious. And so I will put that information there. So whenever it's the time, or you're interested, or you would like to share it, as we said, share with your friends and family. I'm sure that you all would appreciate over there at Action Self-Defense.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we're coming to an end, and this is going to be a two-part for physical safety. So we will see you all next time. And to my beautiful audience, thank you so much for your support and always rocking with me. We'll see you next time.